Today, for the very first time, we are going to be listening to Artificial Paradise by OneRepublic. Hello everybody and welcome back to another album review / reaction here on the channel. I am pumped because I was sort of surprised at the release of this album. So today, as you heard in the description, we're going to be talking about Artificial Paradise. If you're new to the channel here, we're going to be going through and listening to this album from front to back, and I'm going to be talking over the music, sort of giving my thoughts as I'm hearing it for the very first time. So we're going to listen to the whole thing. I'll have timestamps in the description of the video. You can look on the timeline of the video and you'll be able to skip to your favorite song if you want to hear a reaction to that. And if you want to skip to the very end of the video after I'm done listening, I will give my sort of overall thoughts. I recently filmed a video where I found out about this album, actually. A reaction to the new Imagine Dragons album. And I tried something different with that video. I recorded it in 3 separate parts because they're such an enormous band. I didn't know if I'd be able to actually use the audio from the album in my videos. For those of you who are unaware, you can put almost any song in a YouTube video. Any single song. But when you start using multiple songs from the same album, YouTube doesn't like that. So if you do use a song as a reaction song if you do use a song in a reaction video, say I picked whatever track, we'll just say track 8 here. It's called, or track 9, West Coast. I think that was one of their big singles off this album. I have not heard any of this yet, by the way. Say I just picked West Coast and I did a little 10-minute reaction of me listening to that song for the very first time. I talk about it a little bit, listen to this song, talk over it a little bit, and then talk about it afterwards. That would be totally fine. That video would have a copyright claim on it, which is not a copyright strike, but it's a copyright claim, basically meaning that all the money, that even if I didn't put ads on that video or anything like that, there would automatically be ads put on that video, and all of the money from those ads, all the ad revenue generated from that video, however it is generated, would go to OneRepublic. Now, I'm not saying that I'm for sure about this because I haven't done a OneRepublic reaction on my channel yet. I may have done a reaction to Human by OneRepublic. I should have gone back and looked on my channel to see if that audio was available to use or not. And that would probably help me figure out what I'm going to do with this one. But my whole reason for bringing all this up is to just kind of to continue explaining. When you do single songs, you can pretty much have any song in there. Like, for example, Taylor Swift, right? If you look on YouTube as a creator, you can go through their list. You can type in any song that's available to put in your videos and whatever on YouTube, which I always include them in my videos. I edit them in, all that stuff. All of Taylor Swift's music is listed. Basically, let's take her album Speak Now. That's the one I reacted to. I think it was last year, but it might have been the year before at this point. But I think it was last year. Yeah, it was last year. I reacted to her Taylor's version of Speak Now, right? So every single one of those songs is listed on YouTube that as it can be used in a video, but the ad revenue will just go to her. And that is the way I run my channel. Almost every video that I have uploaded on my channel has music in it, and all the ad revenue from all of my videos goes to those artists whose music is in there. I don't get any of it. A few bands don't care at all, and they just allow people to take their revenue for their channel, for that individual creator's channel. So, for example, actually, you know what I can't even think of an example, but there have been I've uploaded maybe 100 videos or so the last 3 years or so doing reactions like this, and I would say maybe once or twice a band just didn't had it so that I could use whatever, and their ad revenue would go to me. But that's only happened, I would say, twice or so out of about 100 videos. There are awesome bands like Metallica, who I've done all reactions to all of their albums here on my channel with my buddies, and Metallica is a great band for what I do on my channel because they allow me to use all the music, their full albums in my videos, so I can have every song in there, whether we take breaks between or listen to it all in one chunk. However we decide to do it, they allow all of the music to stay in the video, but all ad revenue from those videos goes to Metallica. So all my Metallica videos that have, between probably 30 and 75,000 views on them, all the ad revenue from that goes to Metallica. I've not seen a cent from any of those. But I'm not here to make a bunch of money. That's not what I'm doing this for. I wish I could. I wish I could make some money doing this, but I can't. And the reason I bring all that up is to say, generally, with the bigger the artist, the less chance you have that you can listen to a full album without having the video blocked worldwide. So to finish my Taylor Swift thing, you can upload a video reacting to any of Taylor Swift's Speak Now songs on YouTube, any single song. But if you upload a video like I did last year reacting to Taylor Swift's entire Speak Now Taylor's version album, it got blocked worldwide. I couldn't have it in any country on the planet. No country was legally allowed to have that video play. I couldn't make it public for anyone. No one would be able to see it. So I had to go back in and replace the audio in my own file without the music in there. Now, very recently, YouTube has introduced like an AI thing that will automatically take music out of a video. I don't necessarily like that because I assume it will lower the quality of the audio of my speaking in the video. So I haven't tried that yet, but if I get into a situation, I might try it just to see what happens. But I'm sure it'll take since my videos are all like an hour and a half to 2 to 3 hours long, it'll take a long time to process all that stuff. But I'll try it eventually sometime in the future when I run into that problem. But I'm pretty sure I'll run into that problem with OneRepublic. And I was pretty sure I would run into that problem with Imagine Dragons. So when I did my recent Imagine Dragons reaction, I think there was 10 songs on the album, or if there was 11 songs. There was 11 songs, I think. So I did a video, no. Yeah, there was 10 songs. So I cut the video up into 3 parts when I was recording it, right? So I listened to the first 3 songs in the first video, second 3 songs in the second part, and then the last 4 songs in part 3. I am not going to do that with this. I'm going to just listen all the way through, and I'm going to try to upload it, and we'll see what happens. If I upload it and I can't, it gets blocked, I may just try to chop the video into pieces. So if you see this video labeled as part 1 on YouTube, it means I had to chop it up. And I might try to chop it up into just 2 parts instead of 3 to see if that works. The only time I've done the chopping up thing and had it work was when I recorded or reacted to a Matchbox 20's album from last year. I had anticipated that having this problem of getting the video blocked because of the popularity of the band, and so I did the same thing I did with Imagine Dragons. Listen to the first few songs in part 1, first few songs second. You know what I'm talking about. Parts 1, 2, and 3. The album spread out over those 3 parts. And it worked. I was able to upload it and keep the music in there. So we'll see what happens with this album. I'm sorry I just wasted so much time trying to explain that. I feel like it's really interesting, and I do things on my channel that a lot of other reactors don't. It's very hard to find full album reactions on YouTube where the music is in the video. A lot of full album reactors will listen to the album and then they just don't speak while the song is playing, and then they just cut the part of the video out where the song is. And I could do that too, but for me, what I like to focus on my channel is production, and I focus on what I'm hearing, why are the sounds put together the way they were, how good something sounds, how bad something sounds, things about the mix, the stereo image, all those things. And it's really hard to talk about those things, more technical things from the production standpoint, when you're not listening to the music. Almost everything that I talk about and point out, if you're hearing it with me, you can listen to it and be like, oh, this is interesting. That's what he's talking about. Very rarely do I sit down and say, wow, the message in this line was so profound, and it's something we can talk about that way. That's very rare that lyrics, I really even pay attention to lyrics in songs, so don't expect me to pay attention to a lot of the lyrics here because it's just not going to happen. But I do want to say that I am very much looking forward to this album, and I hope that I can upload this video as one big video on YouTube. That's my hope. That's what I'm going to try to do. So before we get into everything, I also have to say I'm here on my set where I normally record, and I'm coming off of a amazing reaction I just filmed last night with my cousin Cody for this album, Queen of the Wave by the band Pepe Deluxe. Now I want to say, I've done a lot of reactions, and I've heard many albums. I myself have a CD collection that is over 3,500 CDs. I have many records, like vinyls. I have cassette tapes. I have all sorts of things. I have a very large music collection, and I've heard vast numbers of albums. And I have to say that this album, Queen of the Wave by Pepe Deluxe, is one of the most unique and amazing albums I've ever heard. I would say from the standpoint of a technical achievement, it's absolutely unmatched. It's incredible. However, I feel like if you are the type of person that just listens to music and the lyrics are the first thing you listen to, and you want to get inspired by the lyrics, and you want to, have a deep, meaningful connection to the meaning of the song, then I don't know if you would necessarily care for this as much. But this is a very special album. And if you've never heard it before, I highly encourage you to go online and find my reaction to this. I may edit this video before I edit this one, because this is a 2.5-hour reaction that my cousin and I did. But this album is absolutely worth every second of those 2.5 hours of time we put into doing the recording, and the probably 6 or 7 hours I'll have to put into editing the video in the near future. But I might put this one out just because this album's newer and people, it's more in the zeitgeist right now than some album from 2011 from a band that nobody really knows or cares about. So I just want to say, even if none of that sounds interesting to you and you don't even care, you don't care about my channel, that's totally fine, no big deal. Please go look up the album Queen of the Wave by the band Pepe Deluxe. This is their third most recent album. They released this album in 2011. Then 10 years later, they released this album, The Phantom Cabinet Volume 1, which is just as good as this album, but a little bit less consistent, but very, very good. This whole band is interesting. And then they actually just released a new album a few weeks ago called Phantom Cabinet Volume 2, Comics Sonics. And I haven't done a reaction to that yet, and I haven't heard any of it yet, but I'm absolutely cannot wait to do that. But I wanted to do this video first. And yeah, so that's what I'm here. Please look up Pepe Deluxe. And if you want to look up anything, I highly recommend their album Queen of the Wave. And if you feel like anything I just said about them sounds interesting, I know I didn't explain the music at all, but it's actually very hard to explain. It's not metal, so don't worry about that. And if you're a metal guy, I still think you should try to listen to it. But if any of that sounded interesting and you enjoy the formatting of my videos, you enjoy listening to me talk, plus my cousin being here as well, please check out that reaction when it gets uploaded. Like I said, I think I'll probably have this video uploaded first, but that is going to be that is going to go down as one of the best reactions to any album I've ever filmed, to probably what it will be one of my maybe top 25 favorite albums I've ever heard. Queen of the Wave by Pepe Deluxe. All right, so OneRepublic. I'm a OneRepublic fan, and if you want to, this is very similar to my Imagine Dragons video I recorded a little bit ago. If you're here because you love all the Metallica reactions I've done, if you're a big metal guy and you just put this video on to listen to while you're driving your truck, cleaning your car, whatever, thank you so much for doing that. And you're still here before you click out of this video and go find something else that's a little bit more to your taste, all I want to say is give this album a chance. I have not heard any of it yet, so I cannot personally say that this album is going to be great or anything like that. But based on OneRepublic's prior catalog, of which I have all of their albums, I really think that there's a high chance, a very good chance, that this album is going to be fantastic. I will say their last album, Human, was disappointing for me because there's 18 songs on here, which there's also 18 songs on Artificial Paradise, but there's 18 songs on here, and it feels very repetitive. The whole album is basically structured the exact same, and every single song is verse, chorus, verse 2, chorus, and then the chorus repeats again, and then the song's over. So they're all very short, to the point, and they really don't deviate from every track on this album is basically that. And for the most part, I like it when songs stick to a very rigid structure. People who are fans of my channel here will know that. But in this case, I just feel like this album is a little bit too similar from front to back. I want there to be a little bit of, I don't necessarily want a song with a different structuring, but when you have 18 songs that are basically sound the same and are kind of interchangeable, I feel like this album was very uninspired, which is the complete opposite of their album, Oh My, which I feel like is incredibly inspired. This album is incredible. One of the coolest things about this album, I have the deluxe edition that has some bonus tracks on it. And So there's how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 tracks on the actual album. Then 17, 18, 19, 20. So there's 4 bonus songs. So there's 20 songs on here. I actually, when I listen to this album, I skip like the first 4 or 5 songs. And then from there on, after the song maybe Choke, and then especially AI, which is their song featuring Peter Gabriel, the whole album is fire from there. I love absolutely every single song on this album from that point on. And I don't even hate the songs at the beginning of the album. I just don't think that they're as strong. However, I think some of those were the songs that were their sort of bigger songs. And so, you know, those songs just weren't for me. But what a fantastic album this is. It is absolutely full of different styles of music, taking chances, taking risks, doing things that aren't necessarily just trying to get a #1 hit single. And that's why I like this album so much. I actually think this album right now is my favorite OneRepublic album. But a very close second is Native, which is, I think, their biggest album, because Counting Stars, I think, is their biggest song. Or actually, it might be that it's Apologize, and maybe even the remix of Apologize, which is, I think, a little bigger than the original version. But I really like this album. I think they still feel kind of like a band here. Kind of the same thing with Imagine Dragons. Imagine Dragons' first 2 albums, you can hear them being a band with a lot of electronic elements. This is that same kind of a thing. And then after this album, starting with Oh My My and then on Human, there's really not much band left. It's mostly just electronic pop music. And that's fine. I like electronic pop music. But I do think there's something special about the variety on this album and their 2 albums that came before it as well. Because I just think that the human element in these albums is one of the things that makes it special. But the songwriting on here is so good. So I absolutely love this album. I think Waking Up is probably their album that I've listened to the least. However, every time I listen to it, it feels like the first time I'm listening to it, and I really do enjoy it. You know, their huge song "All the Right Moves" is on here, and then also "Secrets" is on here. One of my favorite songs of theirs of all time is "Everybody Loves Me," and that's on here. A really cool acoustic guitar based song. There's a lot of good stuff on here, but I do like this album, but not my favorite of their catalog. But probably, you know. And my least favorite album of theirs, maybe apart from Human, is their first album. This is when they definitely sound the most like a band. I think this came out when I was this was when I was in college, 2007. And they're the kind of band that I would hear on the radio and be like, you know what, I might actually check this band out because I feel like there's some promise here. But I never did. I didn't get into OneRepublic until Native. And then I went back and bought their 2 previous albums and have slowly brought myself around to their first 2 albums. So that's how I feel about their catalog, you know, so far. I'm very excited about this album. And let's not waste any more time. Let's just get right into this. I will say our album artwork is cool, but I do feel like they put kind of minimal effort into it in terms of the disc is neat looking, which actually I left the disc in my laptop upstairs because I ripped the disc and then put it on files to bring down here because I don't have a disc drive on here, or I just listen to the disc directly. But I do want to point out, I do really like the fact that they were one of the bands sticking with the disc in a jewel case format, which I really appreciate and enjoy. But this is the deluxe edition, which I bought at Target the other day, and it has 18 songs on it. So it's the full deluxe. The version you would listen to on Spotify for this album that they released is the deluxe edition, and it comes with these bonus songs. So we'll see if I do do this reaction in the last few songs. Interesting. This is actually, they have the songs mixed. Okay, the interesting. So on Spotify, the track listing is different. So if I go through and some of these songs, like for example, Mirage is from Assassin's Creed Mirage. It's one of the songs from Assassin's Creed, and it looks like I Don't Want to Wait is a David Guetta song with OneRepublic, and then the last song on here is Fire, which is the official UEFA Euro 2024 song. If those songs were to get blocked and the rest of the album would be allowed through, I'll just probably erase those songs or get rid of the audio in those songs. So we'll see what happens. But on the Spotify edition, deluxe edition of this album, all those songs are the last 3 songs. So they're at the end of the album. But here, they've actually integrated them into the album. So that's kind of interesting. But I do have to point out, the booklet for this is not a booklet. It's just a single piece of paper. And it just says right there scan that barcode, scan that what do they call them? QR code. Scan the QR code for the lyrics, and then on the back it has. It's not even credits for the album. It's just like management, booking, legal, business stuff, and it's like, well, okay, no one really cares about those things. I'd rather have you have put like some of the credits on here, but and the credits actually that they have, I did scan this QR code and I went to their website and looked, and the credits they have there are laughable. So it doesn't say who plays what on any song or who wrote anything. And maybe I just misread it or whatever, but we'll see. I'm assuming everything was written by Ryan Tedder, probably featuring like 4 or 5 other co-artists writing it, and then maybe we have a little bit more. So I don't know. So in terms of the way this album sounds, I'm hoping we get a little bit more of a band sound. I don't know if that'll be the case, but I'm hoping we do. And I'm hoping that there's variety. I'm already very disappointed with the length of a lot of the tracks. I think that some of the songs seem like ridiculous. There's a lot of like 2.5-minute long songs, and I personally hate that. I do not like that. I would rather have every song be 4.5 minutes long. But, you know, bands really want to write songs so that they can be used on TikTok nowadays, and I guess that's okay, but it's a bummer. So I'm going to try not to dwell on that too much as we're listening here. But as I look at the track listings, we got like 240, 241, 234, 213, 224, or 229, 228. Then we get to track 9, and that's our first plus 3-minute song with 314, then 233, then 328, then 215, 225, 316, 328, 240, 247, 248. So there's 18 songs. What, 4 of them are over 3 minutes long, and every other song is under 250. That's really sad to me. I mean, to me, like what on earth has become of pop music? That's just so disappointing. So we'll see what happens. I'm not going to dwell on that. You know, if every single song feels like it's too short, I'll mention it the first few songs, and then I'll just have to get over it. But I imagine that's what's going to end up happening. So let's just go ahead and listen to this. The track listing when I ripped the CD actually did not have any. There's no metadata on the CD. There's no CD info. So I have to look at the song titles on here. So the first track is Artificial Paradise. It's 1:38. I think this might actually be an intro type thing. So let's go ahead and get into this in 3, 2, 1. Something like this used to be really cool, but nowadays anyone with the click of a button can have a billion harmonies, so. Okay, cool. We're already getting like piano and stuff. My volume pod over here is a little dirty. So this already is really cool. Now it's just a sort of an instrumental, I assume. All right, we're going to be going into track. Oh, I guess we still have a little bit here. Okay, a little circular moment here, going back to the very beginning. We're going to be going into track 2, which is Hurt. Love the guitars right away. That's very cool. It's very nice. This shirt I bought at Goodwill, by the way. I've never seen them live. Like the background vocal feel. Think that's probably all Ryan and Ted are doing the background vocals. I like the guitars. This is nice. I don't know if there were any guitars really on Human, or even on Oh My My. Really, there was a little bit. Obviously don't crawl on me because of that, but none of the songs were guitar driven, and that's fine. But that's a bass, so we got nice real bass, real guitars. So it's like the other members of the band were given something to do, which is nice. I can sing the songs already, and So I did watch a video recently. It was a Rick Beato video, and he was talking about how the lengths of pop songs have gone significantly down over the last however many, but over the decades, basically, since the 90s. The 90s are the decade that had the longest #1 hit songs. But he was talking about how the Beatles back in the day and pop artists of the 50s and 60s, we used to write pop songs that felt like full-length songs in 2.5 minutes. But they were good at writing a full song in a very short space of time. Whereas a lot of modern pop songs feel too short. They feel like there's parts missing from them. And so I'm hoping that they can go through and do that. Like, so this is the third chorus we're getting on this album, which is really nice that they were able to fit that in a 2.5 minute song. So that was Hurt. Now we're going to track 3, Sink or Swim. Huh. His voice sounds a little different here. Almost pitch shifted, really. Hold on, my check. Check. Uh-oh. It's not, my computer's not recording the audio. I can use that to align it up, and I'll pause after this song and figure out why that's not working. I should have tested that. So that song, I was very distracted there for a while, but I will say that one did feel a little shorter, but I enjoyed what I heard. So, all right, so I'm going to stop the recording and work on getting this figured out, and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've got it figured out. So we're going to continue on with track 4, and I'll just have to line that up manually there. Okay, so now we're on to Mirage, which I love Assassin's Creed. I think, actually, I just recently took all my games off the shelf behind me here and put up some cassette tapes, moved some things around there. Actually, that's glaring, which is annoying. There we go, that's a little better. Can't even see what that thing is. I'm probably going to take that down. You know what? Let's go ahead and do that. I like this thing. I like this thing a lot. But if you can't tell what it is, it doesn't do much good up there. I have my little Dementor up there. Can't. This guy won't stand on his own, so I'll just put him up here with Godzilla. I think he'll probably fall down. Let's see. What do I got around here that can go there? I got these guys that I was using in my video yesterday. If I had stereo hoof set up, you'd really be able to tell. Some Japanese, I think they're Japanese, or are they Chinese? They're Chinese medicine balls. I think that's what they're referred to as. Maybe, you know what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, they're very cool. I've got several of those down there, so I'll just put that up there. And then also I've got this microphone that was my Grandpa Joe's in World War II. He was a comm operator. Up there. There you go. Can't see what's going on. Doesn't matter. All right, track 4, Mirage. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was going to say, I love Assassin's Creed. I played all the games except for the one where you're the bad guy, which is called Assassin's Creed. It was the one right at the very beginning of the PS4, because I bought Assassin's Creed 3 on the PS3, and at the same time, like, on the same year, they released Assassin's Creed... Which one? What is it called? It was the one that was similar to Black Flag. Oh no, I bought Black Flag on the PS3. That's what it was. I bought Black Flag and played it on the PS3. And then that same year they had Assassin's Creed Rogue come out. And so that was on PS4 only, and so I never played that one. That was weird that they did that now, thinking about that now. But I love all these Assassin's Creed games, played all of them. I love them. It's probably one of my favorite game series. It's the longest video game series I've ever played. But I have not played Mirage yet, because I don't have a PS5, and I was kind of waiting for that. And I could get it, I think. Or no. Yeah, I think it was released on PS4. So, anyway, very much looking forward to the new one, Assassin's Creed Shadows, coming out. The Japanese one. Very excited for that. So this is Mirage from Assassin's Creed Mirage. In 3, 2, 1. This is also 2 minutes and 13 seconds, so it's like... Pfft. Assassin's Creed Mirage set in India, I think. So this is featuring Marshall Tamer. I love this. This is great. This is awesome. Oh, that's cool. Assassin's Creed famously always use, like, pop music, hip-hop music, stuff like that in their trailers. They don't use these things in the game, but in the trailers, they always have, like, a famous band associated with the trailer music, and that's always very cool. Oh, cool. So this must be Michael Tamer. Or Michael Tamir. Oh, Mishal Tamir. Oh, all right. We're on Sunshine. I guess the fact that there's no outros on any song is one of the reasons they're shorter, so that was actually really cool. Ooh. I'm actually really enjoying this. So what they're doing is they're really just, there's no fat in the songs at all, right? They trimmed there's no instrumental moments at all. The moment the song starts, there's vocals, and it is verse 1. Then right into the chorus, verse 2, chorus, and then maybe like a 4-bar bridge type thing going right into the chorus. Very cool. I'm gonna look up on Spotify real quick and just see. I don't think any of the songs are explicit. I don't think that one Ryan Tedder would. Dude, I love these rap hip hop verses from Ryan. That's awesome. Oh, awesome. Very cool. Very cool. And then instrumental part here too, which they've been doing after each chorus. This is nice. This might be my favorite song so far, but the Mirage song was really awesome too. Okay, come on, OneRepublic. There we go. My phone is slow. So now we're on I Don't Want to Wait. Wait, that sounds familiar. That sounded familiar. Looks like I Don't Want to Wait. It's a huge song for them. I Don't Want to Wait, 212 million. I Ain't Worried, 1 billion views. So I Ain't Worried. Have we done that one yet? No, I Ain't Worried is coming up next. That one's got 1,674,000. Numa, 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 need to terror soon on the starving day. The Numa Numa dance? I don't wanna wait to terror to blossom starting day. I don't know the words to Numa dance. Numa Numa dance? This is like when Ellie Goulding did the Depeche Mode song, and then which pop artist was it that did that with the On Blue Abadee Abade thing, where they're taking songs from like the 90s or the early 2000s in the 90s and reworking them. Oh man. Sorry, I forgot what I was looking for here. Wow. Okay, yeah, no explicit lyrics on here. Give you a little bit of my Vicks Vapo inhaler. so my nose doesn't whistle as much in case I have to take all the audio out of this. all the songs, sounds, the music. All right. Hopefully you guys can't hear that fan too much, but I need it. You probably can hear it a little bit, but I need it. So, all right, we are now on to their big song, I Ain't Worried, track 7. Don't know how we're going to follow the Numa Numa dance, but we are. Little whistle. Really like the guitar there. Hold on, I've heard this. This had to be in a movie. That sounds like something. Okay, I've heard this. Yeah. Oh, I will say, people probably been screaming this at me in the comments. If anybody ever watches this video, seems like huge bands like this, people don't really watch reactions to very much. But, especially if I can't include the audio. But I did read online that this album is kind of a collection of a bunch of songs that really didn't fit on any of their other albums, and then filled in with specific songs that they wrote for this. And I also wrote that it's the last song of their last album of theirs on Interscope Records. So that tells me that we're probably going to be getting this band to do a... We're probably going to get a big change from this band after this album. So I'll talk more about that at the end, my thoughts on that, after this album's done. So this is very much like that, what is it? That song by the... What was it? The Jonas Brothers? Who, or I think is... Is that the Jonas Brothers? Wonder where I heard this. We never listen to the radio, so it had to have been in a movie or something. It's really catchy. Awesome. That's great. All the songs are feeling like full songs. I don't know how they're doing it. It's actually very impressive. Okay, so this is track 8. This is Entr'acte. Entr'acte. I don't know. With the apostrophe in the middle of the word, it looks French to me, but I have no clue. So I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. I just did twice and failed miserably, I'm sure. So... So far, I'm saying this album is actually really impressing me. This seems like an instrumental. I guess it's only a minute and 12 seconds. So now we're moving into a full-length song for the first time. West Coast. Okay, so this is one of their big singles they released. Come on, don't be hypocritical. Like the string stuff. Sounded like real strings. Don't know if it was, but very cool regardless. Track. Okay, West Coast. I hate it when songs are about the coast and Colorado or I'm not Colorado. Well, not Colorado too, but not many people sing about Colorado, but I hate it when some people sing about California. Ooh, it's interesting for them to put this right after I Ain't Worried. The right now. Yeah. Very similar sort of melody to I Ain't Worried. I will say I really enjoy the core of these songs is guitar, bass, drums. And the drums are all, I think, programmed drums, and that's nothing wrong with any of this being synthetic. I like the way the drums sound though. Sounds like there's some toms and stuff in there that are real. It's like tambourine that was probably sounded played. Look now, right now. But anyway, the like palm muted guitar rhythm stuff, really nice, really nice. Gives the whole thing a bit more of a summery feel to it, like a bit laid back. Oh, in case you're wondering why I had these glasses on earlier, it's because I was using these glasses as kind of a joke in the reaction yesterday that I did for Queen of the Wave. That's also why this wooden gun is here. That I got from our high school when my high school closed down in the small town that I'm from. If we found it under the stage, it was a prop in a play. I've been dreaming about the right now. I like those guitars. I love the background vocals. It sounds almost like gospel choir-y, which I always love. Okay. Nobody. Guitar. Acoustic guitar. Love it. Ryan Tedder just has a way with writing songs. The way I do. Claps. Digital claps. Love the acoustic guitars, the whole song. Man, I don't feel like really any of the songs have been too short. They're just so to the point that they can be full songs in 2.5 minutes. It's blowing my mind. We need kind of a slower song, more of a ballady ballad. I don't know if we'll get that with such short songs, but we'll see. Okay, the next song is Serotonin with 3.5 minutes, so Okay. It's a cool synth there. This is definitely a slower song, much more chill. It's amazing. Like, some of this just feels so derived of their previous work and just whatever's popular that it's like, you know, I don't. This is literally the first time I ever heard that song, but like, man, that type of thing, just like, it's just like, of course they did that, you know? I like the snare here. Yeah, yes. I. I was gonna look how long the album is. 46 minutes, it looks like. It's hard for me to see because I got my screen pretty far away. 46:52, so 47 minutes. That's actually nice. Nice. I like that one. That was a good one. I like that one. You know, we got red light, green light. Acoustic guitars. Ooh. It does feel a little hodgepodgey, the album, which I know is what I said I wanted, something a little bit more variety from song to song, but it does feel kind of like a compilation almost of the way that everything sounds a little different. I'm still always blown away by the fact that they can write every song feels like it could be like a hit song. Pitch shifted vocal in there.
You'll be riding shotgun.
Very much a modern, using all that pitch shifting stuff. A modern approach to vocal fills. Love that back on vocals, the oohs and ahs and stuff. I say that as she goes ooh. Red light, yellow light, green light, red. You'll be riding shotgun till oh,
You'll be riding shotgun. You'll be riding shotgun.
you'll be riding shotgun. Okay. Runaway. Okay, this sounds a little familiar. I mean, like, not, I don't know, I'm pretty sure I've never heard this song, but that melody. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. Yes. Who sings that? What is that song? Maybe that's why they don't have the credits listed. They don't want people to know. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. I guess when you have the rights to pay for the use of any song, and you don't have to worry about copyright stuff because you can just pay the artists off. That's cool. Like I like this, by the way. I like this. Let's go all the way. Let's go all the way. I don't know who sings that, but yeah. See how slow my phone is. Opening Spotify. Let's see what all the way is. I'm sure I could just look this up online and it would be listed, but I'm curious. Go on a little hunt here. Must not be that must not be the name of the song. Let's go all the way. I don't know. All right, this is Last Holiday. The way that this song started with that almost live feeling. Hmm. Interesting. Interesting. This sounds like something that could have been on Oh My My. Oh, I love the cello in there. Could sounds like a real cello. anymore. Yeah, you can really... It all feels very familiar. It's very cool, though. Like, I do enjoy this. I know I seem like I'm probably not super into this, and that's just because I don't feel the best, I guess. But that's... I guess that's what leukemia does to a guy after 7 months. This is different, though. You know, I do want to point that out, too, and say this is different, and I like this. I appreciate it. Sounds very different from everything we've heard on this album so far. I love it, actually. I wish I felt a little bit better so I could appreciate this stuff more. But we're almost done, and I might not feel better for a while, so. All right. This is Singapore, track 15. Yeah. Oh, this is 328, a longer song, so let's go. That previous one was 316. I love this so far. Love the synth builds there. The pads, synth pads. Very cool. This is awesome. Is this just an instrumental song the whole time? That's very cool. Ooh, yeah. This is like soundtrack stuff. Yes, this is like Tron, like soundtracky stuff. That warble there. It does make it feel Asian, kind of. Okay, I'm looking at the track listing here. Artificial Paradise, Hurt, Sink or Swim. Then Last Holiday. Wow. I Ain't Worried. Red Light, Green Light. Serotonin. Wow. So the track listing is completely different on Spotify. Wow. Oh, also it's missing us. Oh no, Nobody is from Kaiju number 8. I don't know what that is. It could be an anime type thing. Kaiju number 8. Sorry, get off me. So wow, it's such a different track listing. That's so interesting. So the Target Deluxe Edition is completely different. Very interesting. I almost wonder if I would vastly prefer this track listing, because I do think the track listing is a little weird, especially how they had those two songs together, the I Don't Want to Wait and I Ain't Worried. Okay, so now we're on to Stargazing. which is very interesting. Oh yeah. This is very different for them. Yeah, now that I know the track listing is different, it almost is like they put all the songs that sound the same in a row. Man, very interesting. Oh, that's so weird. Track listing is such an important part of an album, and the fact that I'm listening to something that has a completely different track listing than they have listed, at least on the Spotify version, I would assume the Spotify version is like the official version, and this is just the Target Deluxe Edition. No, I'm not going to look it up, waste time. Or will? Yeah, I will. I'm going to look it up on Discogs. The ground. His lead vocals are more prominent in this song. There's still a lot of background vocals, but they're not as mixed in. Yeah. OneRepublic. They have 76 releases. Scroll all the way to the most recent thing. Artificial Paradise. 7 versions. Vinyl. Vinyl Worldwide Limited Edition Blue. So that must be the Target version. How we have Artificial Hurt, Sink or Swim, Mirage. Okay, so it has the same track listing as this one. Sorry. We're only gonna... Okay, let me finish this real quick. Okay, so the regular album. Singapore is the final version on the regular album. Wow. Artificial Paradise, Hurt, Sink or Swim, Mirage, Sunshine, I Don't Want to Wait, I Ain't Worried. Okay. Wow. That's completely different than the... Wow. West Coast. Serotonin, Red Light. Runaway, Last Holiday, Singapore. Wow. Wow. Love the acoustic guitars here. This is Room for You, by the way. This reminds me a little bit of a Toby Mac song. And I've been wondering for years if Ryan Tedder is a fan of Toby Mac, because there's a lot of similarities there. Now, yeah, this definitely sounds like a T-Mac song. Okay, now we're going into what will probably get us flagged for sure, copyright-wise. The official UEFA Euro 2024 song. Don't know what that means. It's Medusa and OneRepublic. Medusa, OneRepublic, and Leany. Fire. I don't know what UEFA is, but I assume it's some sort of soccer thing. Football association type thing, I would assume is what it stands for. Pretty cheesy, but okay. Something that's meant to be a theme song for a very popular thing is probably going to be pretty cheesy and simple. Oh, all the low end is being low passed out? High passed out? Hmm. Nice. A lot of autotune being thrown around here, and for some reason, Ryan Tedder's been using the autotune as an effect for a long, since Oh My was really, I feel like, almost done egregiously to the point where it was too much. But like I said, I still enjoy that album a lot. But for some reason, he just really cranked the knob there to. He was definitely using it as an effect, but he doesn't need to. And it hasn't been that noticeable on this album, but you can definitely tell it's there. It is noticeable, but not that bad. And I don't mind autotune being used. I use autotune on all my music because I'm not a good singer, but Ryan Tedder's a good singer, so it's a choice on his end. Okay, all right. All right, well, there we have OneRepublic's Artificial Paradise. And I am just so interested in the fact that Spotify's track listing is so different. However, when I did look it up on Discogs, all the physical releases I think, this same track listing. So it's Artificial Paradise, Hurt, Sink or Swim, Mirage, Sunshine, I Don't Want to Wait, I Ain't Worried, and then Entr'acte. West Coast, Nobody, Serotonin, Red Light, Green Light, Runaway, Last Holiday, and then Singapore is the last track on the regular European CD version. Let's look at the artwork and see if the artwork. Because here's the vinyl limited edition Target exclusive. Like I said, I bought this CD at Target, so yeah, it's same track listing here. It looks like. CD with, I think this is this one. Let's go back. There's only one blue CD on here, and it says Europe. So the Target edition has not been added on here yet. I guess I gotta wait a couple weeks for someone to add it, but okay, whatever. Sorry. Interesting though. So okay. So first of all, I have to say, I'm feeling a little bit better now, but in the middle of listening to that there, all of a sudden I kind of got a headache and I wasn't feeling the best. And that happens sometimes with me based on the medication, the chemotherapy and stuff I'm taking. And so but I do want to apologize for that. If I felt like that, generally I like to have as much energy while recording as possible. And I like to talk a lot during the songs. So maybe you will enjoy it less, or you'll enjoy it even more with that I was talking less. But I still have to apologize for my poor performance I feel here on this one, because I was just listening and not saying as much. And I know I've said in previous videos that I want to try to do that on purpose, but I feel like for copyright reasons, this is definitely an album that I should have spoken more as much as possible during. So whatever. I just want to say I'm sorry if I did not perform to the standard that I have set for myself here on this channel. But, I've been struggling a bit recently with recalling certain things, not memories or anything like that, but just a word. I'll look at these and be like, what is that? That these are a pair of, you put them on your eyes, your face, they go on your face, you put them on your eyes. These are lenses, they're made of glasses. And I think that it's just, chemotherapy and everything. So I want to apologize for that. But now into my thoughts on the whole album. I liked this. I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot better than Human. And the first thing I have to say is they did what I didn't think they could do and make a ton of songs that are 2.5 minutes long, and I did not feel like any of them were short. Now, the way that they did it was the song starts bang verse 1, right? Right into chorus, right into second verse, then maybe a little bit of a bridge, and then the chorus. So all the parts of a song that I want to be in there are in there. But most songs have probably like a 20 to, at the least a 20 to 30 second intro. So you cut that off, and that's your extra 30 seconds to get to 3 minutes. And then if you have like a tiny bit of transition from first chorus into second verse, then that's maybe another 5 to 10 seconds. And you do that again between second verse and bridge, or second chorus and bridge. Then you have another few seconds. That gets you already up to like 3:15, 3:20, which is probably the average length of a pop song in like the 2000s and stuff. So very interesting that they managed to combine everything. And I do feel like it reminds me a bit of Ellie Goulding's album from last year, which every song had the exact same structure. But I do feel like I enjoyed that album a lot, and I liked the way those songs were structured, and they were longer than these songs overall, but every song did feel the same, which is exactly how I felt about Human, right? That's what this one's called? Yeah, Human by OneRepublic. Now, where was I? I was all on a row there talking about, it doesn't matter what I was saying. Basically, I think I said this at the beginning, or in the middle of the video there, but if you just skip to the end there, I did read online that this album is kind of a bunch of songs that they wrote from throughout their I think it said from 2016 to now, of songs that they didn't really feel like fit on certain albums or whatever at the time when they were writing them. And so this is kind of like a rarities B-sides album put together with, I assume, probably 6 or 7 songs that they wrote just for it. And then that's why we have such a large number of songs, though, where OneRepublic always gives us a lot of songs. And the fact, and I would assume that some of the older songs are probably the longer ones on here, because that just would make sense to me. And I think that approach to this album is really interesting, and it tells me a few things. And one of the other things I read was that this is their last album on Interscope. And I looked, and every single one of their previous albums have been on Interscope, right? Interscope, mostly Interscope. So that tells me that, now I don't know how they feel, but I would assume that a band this huge, having been under the same record label, the same contract, maybe they renewed it earlier, I don't know, in their career, but having been under their record label for this contract for however long it has been, and the fact that they're like, this is a collection of songs that we've been writing and we wanted to get them out, so we'll release one more album to fulfill our contract, which is usually bands record albums or sign contracts with record labels to produce so many albums in so many years. And if you, like Metallica famously did this to get out of one of their contracts, they released like Symphony of Metallica and the Garage Inc., and they released a bunch of albums from like they released Load and Reload as instead of a double disc set, making it 2 albums. They did them pretty fast. So they released Load, Reload, Symphony of Metallica, and Garage Inc. all in like 4-5 years to get out of their contract, so that then they could take charge of their career and then flush it all down the toilet with stupid Saint Anger. But bands will get stuck in a contract and then they'll have to release greatest hits, rarities, B-sides, things like that to try to push out some albums to fulfill contract obligations to get out of a contract. And generally, if that's the case, and I'm not saying this is all pure speculation on my part and not doing any research of how these guys actually feel, but knowing that this is their last album on Interscope Records with their current contract, I suppose it's possible they could sign another contract and continue on the way they've been doing it. But the thing that excites me the most is release this album, get your songs out that you wrote for the Interscope, let them own everything, and now go on and probably do your own thing. And the idea of Ryan Tedder and OneRepublic having total control over what they're doing gives me, like, it makes me almost excited that, like, not that they didn't have control here. I think Ryan Tedder's probably doing a lot of what's happening here, but like the idea of them being unfettered, like untethered to a record label is kind of exciting. You know, look at what well, that's kind of not the best example because Under the Influence of Giants was not a very big band, but Red Bull Records with AWOL Nation and Aaron Bruno, right? Like he I guess he was never really put under anyone's thumb or anything like that. He's just always had creative control, but he really takes all sorts of risks and makes very interesting music. And the idea that OneRepublic could do whatever they want in the future is very exciting to me. And I hope that they allow them, like, hopefully they get reinvigorated with creativity and that they work on releasing like the best album they've ever released could be their next album, because they're just filled with creativity and positive energy and positive thoughts and this looking forward to the future and not feeling weighed down. If they felt any of that, I don't even know. Like I said, this is all speculation, but I did read that. And the fact that this is their last record on this label, and that it's kind of a collection of, they're gathering together all the material that they haven't released over the last, almost like 8 years at this point, to make sure that they get those songs out there so people can have them, tells me that maybe they didn't want to put the effort into writing a whole nother full album. And also, or they might have wanted to get some of those songs out, and so they just kind of put them all together and make it work on an album. But man, so that all is very interesting, and we'll see what happens in time. Hopefully we get the best OneRepublic version of OneRepublic yet, But I really enjoyed this album. I'm actually shocked how much I liked this. And I know, like I said, it might seem like I wasn't really listening or paying as much attention in the middle there, but I was. I just wasn't saying as much. But I really am so surprised and shocked and very happy with how much I liked this. I really am. I think that they delivered on how I wanted it to. There was a bit in there where I was feeling the songs were feeling a little bit samey, but now that I know that the track listing on this is way different from the Spotify one, like I said, I almost wonder if the Spotify track list would be better, but this is the official track list as far as I'm concerned, because this is what they chose to have their physical media be. And I looked on their Discogs at the track listing for their the black version of this and also the blue version of this, which seems to be the two different versions that are out there in the world. And I just am I'm very happy that we got this. This is, in my opinion, this is better than the Imagine Dragons album that came out recently. And Imagine Dragons have been disappointing me their last few albums, and this newer album from them, Loom, is pretty good, but it's not their best album by a mile. I think their first two albums are way better. But it does feel a lot more inspired than their last two albums, Mercury Part 1 and 2, which I just felt were them definitely phoning everything in and not being creative at all. With the exception of the few songs that they did for League of Legends and the Enemy for the TV show, Arcane, right? So I do feel like Imagine Dragons has it in them to still be creative and make really cool, catchy songs, but instead they just focused on their last two albums, with just trying to write catchy songs and then putting it over very generic music. However, on Loom, they do have a lot more interesting music, and I do feel like they kind of scooped out too much of the high frequencies of the mix, which I did not get here. But this is what I wanted from OneRepublic. I do think the track listing, I know I keep going back to that, but I really feel like if you would have mixed in the last half of this album and like shuffled the songs around, I think it would have been a much more enjoyable album. But that being said, I do think Sink or Swim was different than Hurt. Mirage was very cool song. I Don't Want to Wait is just a huge song, but I Don't Want to Wait and I Ain't Worried should not be on an album together back to back at all. They sounded way too similar, so that was really disappointing. West Coast I found to be kind of boring. I didn't care for that song as much. Nobody I also don't think was the best. So maybe the fact that we had like a bunch of, we had I Don't Want to Wait, which is a great song, and then I Ain't Worried, which is also a great song, but those two songs together I feel almost cancel themselves out. So I was a little weirded out by that. And then we have that weird word I can't explain, the Entr'acte. And then West Coast, which I thought was a little bit kind of by the numbers. And then Nobody, which also felt a little by the numbers, but still kind of interesting. Then to go into Serotonin, you had this big kind of chunk in the middle of the album that I was kind of like meh about. So if you were to mix in, and then Red Light, Green Light wasn't their best song ever, but it was a little different. That one definitely doesn't feel like a number one hit single. A lot of the other ones did. But like then you get to like Runaway and Last Holiday and Stargazing and Room for You, and those are very different songs. If those were all kind of mixed in with the rest of these songs, maybe it wouldn't feel as maybe it would feel even more hodgepodgey, I guess. But like very, that last song, I could totally leave that song. That song was really boring, phoned in, like kind of garbagey in my opinion. Very, very very by the numbers. So yeah, I don't know. Hopefully you understand what I'm trying to say here. I think that I'm happy with those being my sort of final thoughts. I would not be surprised if this album doesn't make it on my list. Or I would not be surprised if this album does make it on my list of top 12 albums for the year. Because this is absolutely an album that I could listen to in the car, just have on, and I would constantly be like, this is just a good time. It flows from front to back. I didn't really feel like you'd have to skip any songs. The fact that we have Serotonin there in the middle, and that's like a 3.5-minute instrumental song, is very interesting. That is supposed to be the last song on these albums. Or no, I'm sorry, not Serotonin. That's Singapore. Serotonin is totally different. Okay, so I was thinking something totally different there for that one. So Serotonin was a nicer song then. Sorry, I was getting Serotonin and Singapore mixed up. Sorry about that. Yeah, I don't know. I'm happy with this. Now, I don't know what ended up happening with me trying to post this video. It may have been not worth my time to try to render multiple versions of it and all this stuff, and I just did it without the music in there. If that's the case and you're still watching, thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot. Maybe I was able to include the music on this, but I don't know. I should have went back and looked up Human, but maybe I was able to use the audio in that one. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. Thank you, OneRepublic, for all the awesome albums you've given us on this record label, and I hope that you go on to be excited, feel refreshed, revitalize your music career. Not that it's dead. Certainly, you already have over 1 billion listens on a song that's on an album that was just released, a week ago, basically. Even though that song's been out for a while, but still, like, they're obviously doing fantastic. But I think the idea of freedom for even the biggest bands could be a very enticing thing. So freedom to be creative freedom. So we'll see what ends up happening there. But thank you everyone for watching. Stay tuned on the channel. I mentioned AWOL Nation. I'm going to be doing a reaction to that one coming up too. And in my head, I've always kind of associated OneRepublic, Imagine Dragons, and AWOL Nation as these enormous, huge sort of pop bands that I really unabashedly and unironically love. And Imagine Dragons have been disappointing. OneRepublic has been disappointing. AWOL Nation has been kind of disappointing when just weird. But I think AWOL Nation's last album was really a return to form and really, really good. And I'm hoping with this new album of his, which I did not listen to his covers album, I think that he released last year or the year before. I should listen to that. But this new AWOL Nation album I have high hopes for. And he keeps kind of leaning to more of like a heavy, almost metal sound with some of the stuff. So if he continues to go that way and we get a heavy album from AWOL Nation eventually, and Aaron Bruno, the man has so much energy when he's just like making music that I feel like that could be something really special. Maybe he'll go the opposite direction, but very excited for that. So be on the lookout for that on the channel. And as I said at the beginning, I'll say it again here because honestly, nothing we do today is gonna. Nothing from this album even comes close to being as impressive as I was with Queen of the Wave by Pepe Deluxe. So absolutely check that out. If that's one thing you take from this video today, then it was absolutely worth it for me putting all the time and effort into it. So anyway, thank you very much, and I hope to see you again next time. Ugh. Oh no, I'm knocking things over. Actually, that would stay standing better if it moved just a little bit. No! Stop! Quit, don't go up anymore. Alright, if you want to hear more about those, watch my Queen of the Wave reaction.
The mystics who dare to defy cosmos. My name is Polem. I
Greece is finally free of your influence.
There isn't much standing in your way now.